ready.
Is it earlier than that?
Whenever you are.
3?
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the council meeting of January 22nd. Stand and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good. Roll call, please.
Mr. Ice.
I'll be here.
Mr. Locke.
Here.
Mr. Hampton.
Here.
Ms. Smith.
Here.
Mr. Mueller.
Here.
Mr. Loomis.
Here.
All right. Good evening, everybody. First on our agenda, we have Grant Schooley with Jobs Henderson Associates about a water project. Good evening. Start with an update. Got a couple extra things tonight to discuss. We'll start with an update on the water line project. You've probably noticed some progress on the west side of town in the areas of Heskett Street here recently, Ridge Avenue, China Street, those areas. The main lines are in. They're setting the saddles and curb valves as they go along. Stubbing those services out, and then once they get some warm weather, they said that they will be back to kind of come behind and do some service lines. We talked last week a little bit about some of those reconnections. They've done some pressure testing recently. They've had a lot of freeze ups on their pumps and things, so they said that it's kind of hard to try to get any of that testing done in this cold weather. So they're trying to get some decent weather to be able to get some of those services started. They do have water to the west side of town. They got the line connected all the way over to from Mohican over to China, and that line is in.
East end, you mean?
Yeah, from the east end to the west end, I'm sorry. Yeah, they have that line in, and it's been tested and filled all the way to the park area. So they have water brought across. I don't believe any other lines on the west side of town have been tested yet. I think that one is the only one, but it's all tied in and ready. The next areas they'll be in, continuing on, they'll be starting out on Buckeye Street, and then they'll be moving to Main, finishing up China, and then Keystone and Snake Alley are kind of or Snake Hollow, I'm sorry, will be some of the next ones coming along. And then they'll do West Main Street, which goes up over the hill near the cemetery, and that'll be pretty close to all of the main lines once they get those areas completed. So currently they're showing about, I believe, mid-February, toward somewhere in there, as having all the main lines in, and currently as of last month, we pushed their deadline to the end of February for construction. Now obviously, service lines and things will go beyond that. We'll have to just see how it goes. But at this point, that's where we are. And according to their latest schedule, they would like to have the mains in at least by then. So hoping to have that done. I'm trying to think on anything else on update. One of the bores under 93 has been completed. They got the casing in. No other pipe has been pulled through it. And then, according to Freedom last week, the boring crew, I don't know if they pulled off, went to another job or what, but they've got 2 more to go, but they did not complete those yet. So keep you guys updated on those. They said that I think they were talking next week is when they would be back. So
This one here is the one you're talking
about. The one
about.
at Buckeye Street.
Right, Buckeye.
Yep, Buckeye.
Snake Hollow.
Yep, that's the one they have under. That's the largest of the 3. That's an 18 or a 16-inch casing that's under the ground there, and then they'll be doing 12-inch casings on the other 2.
Yeah.
They're doing one at Keystone and one at North
Street. Yep.
Yeah, so that's the 2 locations that are left. So tonight for that, we have payout number 2 from payout number 12. I apologize. In the amount of $225,351.90. Now to kind of change things up a bit, we received a lien that has been filed from Turnkey Tunneling. They have not been paid from Freedom. So they were I think the letter was dated the 11th of January. Got a copy of it today. We forwarded it on to Jan as well, so that we can get her input. They're saying that they were due $56,980 that has not been paid, and that was for work in August and September of 2018. And so they are saying, and this one has already been filed with the county recorder and everything, so I don't know exactly what we can do at this point, other than it says in here that we have to hold that money, that $56,000 in escrow. But I'm gonna get, at least let you guys know, and then also get Jan's opinion on that. If that's not today, then maybe we can, whenever you're ready.
It needs to be detained. Looks like you can detain it either from this pay app, or you can detain it from the funds remaining in the contract, but it has to be set aside and placed in escrow.
Placed in escrow.
And they have 20 days, I think, to
it says 20.
dispute.
Okay. So we can do that. All the money actually from the funding agencies comes to the village first. So once it comes here, if that works out, they can hold that money, put it in an escrow.
Have you researched, is it a true bill?
Who puts it in escrow?
Today,
It will be the village will put it in escrow.
is it a true bill?
We
from what
just
work
got it
that
today,
says?
and we don't know. We
That's
need
turnkey.
to look into it and find out what the
Turnkey's
details
bill
are.
and
But
it's
at this
paid.
point, I
I
don't
think
know.
we don't have a responsibility to look into it at this point. You have the affidavit, and you have the notice, so you're required to detain those funds. Then Freedom has 30 days to dispute or object, and if they fail to dispute or object, then we take it as proper and pay it.
So,
But their other subcontractors are considered to be on notice also from this company's filing, so there's a certain period of time after that too, where you have to wait for additional disputes and
Okay.
possibly decide priority.
So what's your recommendation? We take the $56,980 out of this pay app today?
I would,
Okay.
I mean, approve the pay app, but subject to detaining the amount you've received a claim for into escrow.
Now they have, 20 days to dispute that?
That's my understanding,
Should
yes.
we wait till they do the 20 days or go it?
No, you have to detain it right away. You just wait for the 20 days to find out what to do with it.
Yeah.
Whether to continue detaining it or pay it over to the contractor who says they're owed,
It's just gonna sit there.
or wait.
So when the funds arrive here at the village from the funding agencies, we'll have to put it.
Till we pass that motion, we need to
Yes.
state that as well.
Do we? It says at least $56,980. They're asking for. They said that there's also any interest and other costs. Do we have to worry about that at this time, Jan? Do you know?
No.
Okay, just do the amount that they said.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so I guess, just to reiterate, that's $56,980.00 that needs to be placed into an escrow account once it's received from the funding agencies. Out of the total pay-up amount of $225,351.90.
Are you gonna figure that out, or do we just make a motion?
We'll have to make a motion.
When we make a motion to approve the pay app with the understanding that that amount will be withheld in escrow,
Now,
right?
we need to make a motion, we paid pay app number 12, and we will be withholding $56,980 in escrow, pending.
The claim of Turnkey Tunneling Incorporated.
Turnkey tunnel.
Second?
Any other discussion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Ice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
There you go. That takes care of that pay app.
Yeah,
Do we have anything for the
the tank project. There's no pay app's been submitted. They are still waiting to relocate the telemetry items at the tank. I know that they kind of messed up by
Call George.
Yeah, exactly. Getting George Spears was up there to help them, and they kind of didn't help him out. Didn't do what he wanted to be done. He was speaking on behalf of the village, and the contractor did not want to do what George was saying. They wanted to do it their own way. So George basically told him he was done, and so now they're kind of scrambling, trying to get somebody that knows how to do it, because George, he basically quit on them. So.
Yep.
So that's where they are.
George told him.
Yeah, they did. So that's where they are right now. They're scrambling, trying to figure it out, and so that's the update on that project. Once they get that done, then I'm sure there will be a pay app once they get everything complete. But to date, it is still not complete. The tank is operating. It's in service, but it's not controlling. You can't control it. It's still the old tank is what's being controlled. So the telemetry is still connected to the old levels in the tank, in the old tank. So once they get that moved over to the new tank, then they can begin draining the old tank and demolishing it. But that's where we're at currently. So that's kind of the last thing that needs done. And then in the springtime, there'll be some cleanup and things for the site. But yeah, we're still waiting on that. And that has drug out. Tom can attest to that. It's drug out way longer than it needs to, but that's where we are. So, any questions on either contract for the water project? Any questions in general, I guess? Anything else? Any other projects?
I had a question about the updated LMI list. We don't have anything else added to it since.
Oh, for the service connections? I don't believe so.
Okay.
I don't believe there's been any more additions.
Okay, Grant.
Nothing on that, so. I guess how did the stormwater, has there been anything new on the stormwater? Is that
It's done.
it's been in place and good to go? Just wondered. I knew that everything was, we had the public meeting and all that, but I wanted to make sure, put any final questions on that. So, okay, well, that's all that I have, if there's no further questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Grant.
All right. Appreciate it. Have a safe journey. There's your sign off. Next, need a motion to approve the clerk's minutes. Any discussion on that? If not, roll call.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yeah.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Next, I need a motion to approve the clerk's reports for the month of December.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not roll call.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Next, need a motion to approve the mayor's report for December and 2018.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not roll call.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Okay, Solicitor, do you have anything?
Adam and I have a meeting on Thursday with the Sprinkles bankruptcy trustee and the trustee's attorney. They're trying to allege that they might have a claim against the village for taking down the building. So we're gonna try and put that to rest on Thursday.
Okay.
I obtained some more reports from Jason Boffman at the building department to back up all of the village's actions. We didn't have possession of all the reports that were done, so I obtained those in the last week or two, and we'll be presenting those at that meeting. Try and convince the trustee that there's nothing there despite but they're being told otherwise.
Okay.
And then Tom did ask me to make contact again on the funding for new fire stations, so I'll get that taken care of this week.
Okay, great. All right. Next under finance, need a motion for resolution 2019-6, pay bills and payroll.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not roll call.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Next need a motion for resolution 2019-7, bills to be paid.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not roll call.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Next need a motion for resolution 2019-8. You have a list of transfers.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Next under Park and Recreation, need a motion to approve the proposal from Millennium Engineering to design plans and specifications to oversee the bidding and contract documents and perform construction administration for the breaching of number 1 and number 2 reservoirs in Morgan County per orders from the Chief of the Division of Water Resources.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Not roll call.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Next, also need a motion to approve Lynn Engineering to survey the 6-acre tract that was sold to Dean Wise from the village's 75.90 acre reservoir tract in Morgan County.
So moved. But did he give you a cost on it, Tom?
No.
Okay, do you mind if I ask about that one, Tom?
Sure.
Since that one was already sold, what do they need to survey?
Pardon me?
I mean, Dean Wise already got his 6 acres.
Well, if you recall, you were going to have Mr. Cannon survey it because it wasn't taken out of the 7.90 acres.
It was taken out, it was conveyed. We just don't have a survey for the remaining, but I'd already sent it to the county engineer and they approved, like if you manage to sell that property, they've already approved it being sold with, you use the original description less the description that was sold to Dean Wise, and it's approved.
Well, I was under understanding you said that they didn't approve it.
No, they did approve it.
You're sure?
That was my understanding.
Because I got an email in there where I called Mr. Cannon because you said that the engineer, I'm just going by the email, didn't approve it, wouldn't accept the survey. And then you said, well, I'll get a hold of Bull. So I just was under the understanding that it wasn't approved.
I'll have to go back through too, I might be
Okay,
misremembering.
we'll do that,
but
and if that's the
I
case.
thought we were good. I just needed Kevin to give me his original signed
Do we have that?
survey, and that I don't have yet.
Okay.
But I don't know. I'll go back and look. Sorry.
Do you want to
You can go ahead and approve it subject
approve
to
that?
whether we
We'll
need
approve
it.
that subject
I
whether
just
we
got
need it or
confused
not.
when I
All
saw
right.
it there.
Subject to whether we need it or
I'll
not.
amend the motion, subject to whether we need it or not.
Okay, any other discussion? If not, roll
Yeah,
call.
while we're on that, while we're on surveys, we've got sort of the same dilemma with the property next to,
Downtown.
across from Heritage Hall,
Oh, yeah.
because we had a gentleman in here last week that was wanting to purchase that. So,
Might as
the last I knew, you had a guy and he contacted me and I contacted him twice and he never got back, so
Yeah, you
I
dropped the
guess-
ball. That was,
I guess that's up in the air too then.
Will Tim do that for us?
if Tim will do that, then go ahead and get him, because I don't know why Brian's not responded on that Main Street one.
Well, we can discuss a workshop. I don't know what you want to do. You know, we've advertised it 4 times now.
Yeah.
When we talk,
Well, if he
Did you-
wants it, we're
did
gonna
you
have to
check?
survey it.
Well, you know, we got, what you want to discuss, what he brought up is the fact, do you want to sell them separate? And the whole intent was to sell them together, so,
We don't wanna mess with it,
You had to ask Jan about that as well, didn't you?
you know what I mean?
whatever you want to do.
Tom,
Putting it on,
wasn't that the same issue with trying to maybe sell it through gov deals?
Well, that was discussed too. But the whole point was, last week, he asked council if you had an interest in selling them separate.
Right.
The intent to sell them together was because Heritage Hall has no parking. And I asked him, Mr. Brannon, if he wanted to go talk to Jim, the barber dude up there, because at one time he had interest in only the building. So that's where it's at, you know.
Right.
But you need to determine if you want to sell them separate or together. Either way, you're going to need a survey of the property adjacent to Reed Station Park.
Well, why don't we do that, and then we can figure out who wants what, if they want it.
Jim the barber called me this week and wants to look at the property for Heritage Hall, wants to look inside the building, and I didn't have a key for it. He said, well, maybe he can catch some of the people there, because they still have the building keys, right? ODOT, or the construction company, still has control of the building, as far as I know, because they're not done yet.
We don't have a key to it.
I don't. I don't know if Tom's got another key or not.
Tim's probably
It's
gonna.
easy to get in. Credit card will get you in.
That was not the kind of key I was
I guess your question was, are we willing to sell them separately? I think we talked about that, yeah, we are, especially if Jim would take that other building, right?
Well, and again, that's what I think we need to discuss next Monday evening.
Yeah,
But I think either way, we're gonna have to have the survey, right?
Either way, it's got to be surveyed.
yeah.
Let's get that
Yeah,
in the
let's
works.
get that part in.
So we passed the motion to,
If Jim doesn't want the building, it renders it useless for us to keep it, because it has no parking.
right,
Yep.
You know what I
well,
mean?
that's probably.
All or nothing.
Right, back to Brandon if Jim doesn't want it.
But I think, in my opinion, we offer it to Brandon to buy it, and then he can do what he wants with Jim, the barber. That's between Jim and Brandon, once he owns the property.
Takes it all out of gov deals. One time.
Yeah.
Did we pass the one already on this?
I still have to have a roll call.
Okay. No, and that survey there, that's if needed.
In the meantime,
Well,
I found,
and I said survey, it's actually not a survey. I think it was just, it's got to have been surveyed because he's got to have a deed, Wives does. I just think that it wasn't taken out of the 7.90 acres, right?
Dean Wise already has a deed,
Right,
so
that's
he
what I'm
already has
saying.
his survey.
You're
Yeah,
right.
okay.
But what I'm saying is it just wasn't taken out of the advertised 7.90 acres.
When we advertised it, the exception was not listed, the first advertisement, but your advertisement after that did list it.
That's
We
where
may be all
I'm
right.
confused because it was always a separate deed, you know.
It is, but like if I own 30 acres and I sell you 2, I don't have to have a new survey of my land to show that I only own 28. Just next time I do something, mine will show 30 acres minus 2. So there, I can have a new survey if I want to, but I don't have to. My survey is good enough if it just shows my original 30 acres, excepting the 2 I sold to you.
Cause that guy surveyed his 2 off and he has a good survey. correct?
Exactly, yeah. But you can have it resurveyed.
No, I'm not talking about having it resurveyed. I'm just saying that the 6-acre tract that we sold Dean Wise was still showing in the survey the 7.90, correct? And it needs to be excluded out of there? That was my understanding.
When we write the deed, it needs to be excluded out of there.
Okay.
Yes. But we can do that
That's gonna be a deed
by
description.
the way we type it up in the,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
in Morgan County, I found that email, they said they will approve it showing the whole acreage minus the 6, but we had to have Kevin's original signed 1996 survey, and Kevin never has gotten back to me on,
They never got back to
Signing
me either.
that.
That's why I was gonna make some type of move on it.
yeah, so now I understand where you're coming from. It might be just as well to have Tim do it. I mean, either way, we've either got to wait on Kevin to do something that he hasn't done since October. We originally reached out in August, reached out again in October. We still don't have anything. And we were also asking him at that time, Tom,
What's his beef
you're
with
right,
us?
whether or not he recommended a new survey, and he didn't answer that either. But Morgan County did tell me they'll approve it if we do the -6. So it just depends. The only way we get it passed though with the -6 is if Kevin signs that thing that he hasn't signed yet. So now,
Then we're working on 5 months,
yeah.
almost 6 months to.
So if you want to just have Tim do it, I mean, that's entirely up to you.
That'd be my preference.
Might as
Okay,
well.
well, it wouldn't be left it up to whether needed or not. You'll decide whether we need it or
And
not.
I would appreciate it if you contact him and kind of explain it from your,
Yeah, absolutely. I can
the
do that.
legality end of it.
Mm-hmm.
I discussed it with him today.
So is the motion still good if needed, but yet we're just gonna go ahead and do that?
I would just maybe change the language if Jan agrees to straighten it out,
Straighten it out.
short of being surveyed.
Well, it's not fair to that guy.
Who?
He's held up on his stuff for 5 or 6 months.
Who?
You got it all figured out.
What?
He's
not held up on
He's not being held up on
He's
that.
got his deed description,
He
he's got
has
his
his-
deed.
It's good for him. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it's holding us up selling it then.
Really
Yeah.
no motion.
And that's kind of a moot point now too, because you're gonna have more in it than you're gonna get out of it now.
Right. Tearing out the dams.
Okay, there's a motion on the floor and second.
Recoup.
Roll call.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Okay. Next, under service. Need a motion to
Wait a minute,
approve.
wait a minute, we still have the other survey that we was talking about. Are we gonna need to survey that property down there on
Everything there.
Main Street.
I didn't even
Main
look
Street?
at them
Remember
today.
Fred? Just,
Yeah, Heritage Hall
Yeah.
and Main Street proper.
It's just a lot adjacent to
Just
the
a lot,
station
Tom?
They
park.
only have Circle K.
Right,
Yes.
Tom?
So yeah, they do.
Okay.
Between the basketball court and the park.
Huh?
just asking, man, just a lot? or-
Yes, just a lot, and I think Jan can explain that more than I can. I just understand that they won't accept that too, correct?
Yeah, that one's not approved. That one needs a new survey.
Make a motion that we have Tim Lynn survey the lot on West Main Street adjacent to Reed Station Park.
Any other discussion? Not roll call.
Mr. Rice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yeah.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
So did they find a single axle?
I don't know. Not that I know of. But they pick up some industrial.
Gotcha.
Okay. Thank you for all that. Under service, motion to approve the trash hauling permit for Republic Service.
Well, when we're on talking trash hauling, and I don't, these permits, these people getting out in front of us telling us, that they can't pick up trash, they have to pick it up out front. That was not what was, they're not being
Truthful.
truthful to their customers. If they got twin axles, they can't pick it up out back. If they had single axles, they could.
They know, and that's why
I
they're
know,
telling
but the
them.
point is we
Yeah.
gotta get out in front of this on the messaging game, because they're going out and telling their people, which people, we're catching hell for them not complying with just a single axle truck on the alleys. They're gonna act that way. Anytime the double axle truck gets on an alley, we need to fine the hell out of them.
Yep.
I mean, just lay it to them, because if they're gonna play the political game, they're gonna lose.
Well, I had.
Well, that said, then I don't think I would approve a couple of these on here because they're picking up trash. One is picking up the tri-axle, so I don't believe that I would approve their permit this evening. But that's your call.
There's two of them on here.
Two of them, correct.
I know of one instance there, Waste Management picks up the, Old North School or the senior building, and they have to crawl up that alley right next to it to yank the dumpster off the side of it. Technically, that's an alley.
Mm-hmm.
It's a heavy, heavy truck.
No?
So what are you gonna do? You're gonna make the senior building move the dumpster?
If they come off of Buckeye Street into the lot to get that dumpster,
Can't.
it's along. It's on the west side, right?
You
Where the
can't.
dumpster is.
Huh?
It's on the west side. Their dumpster
Yeah.
in that cutout place they got for it.
It's right there on the alley, right there facing
Yeah.
Coach Fell's house. Where it's at. It's in that alley.
Yeah.
So, by our ordinance, they can't pick up our trash now.
So what do you want to do?
Well, for the way I read it, there's an exclusion in there on dumpsters.
Is there an exclusion on dumpsters?
On
Yes.
alley? On commercial, or is it just on the alleys? I don't think, did we write it that way?
Didn't specify.
Commercial
Yeah.
properties.
But it utilizes an alley to get that.
Did you say there's an exclusion on dumpsters?
Yeah, they can pick up dumpsters, I mean, with the can. Have to be able to.
I just know that we're taking a beating on that
Yeah, we are.
from the trash hauling guys.
And I'm getting calls on it. Mr. Trash is the worst.
Yeah, Mr. Trash is the worst, and all it is
And
Mr. Trash is telling all the
Comply.
residents that we threw them off the alleys.
Which we
They
did.
have to pick them up out front now.
Okay.
no, we didn't. If they had a single axle truck, they could go in the alley. That's their option as a businessman.
Mr. Trash, when I talked to him again today, I've talked to him, I'll let you, my phone log shows I've talked to him almost every day this past week, trying to resolve some of the issues that some of the residents call me, and I end up calling them, and there's two different stories being told. Mr. Trash is telling me one thing, and the residents are telling me something else, so I have to go check the complaints out, and I get an earful. But there's two sides to every story, and so
Where our side is, we just want single axles on the alleys. I think we gotta stick to that, or we're gonna be tearing
Everything
up.
after that is somebody else's problem.
The business, they'll get the truck to do it.
They'll either
Yeah,
get a truck
yeah.
to do it, or those people
Right.
will change
Either
to
buy
someone
the
that will
damn
come
truck
in.
or-
Either buy the truck to do it, or stay off the alleys. Or,
I mean,
Yeah, the truck or
people
sell
are
it.
confused. They're hearing different things. Tom and I discussed this a couple times. Maybe I need to send a personal letter out to everybody in their water bills, explaining, how it is, and it's up to them to pick a hauler that has a single axle truck. And some of the people that call me, the one lady is really irate because she's already paid her 3 months, and so far, I haven't got the person that's paid the whole year in advance yet, but I'm sure there's some out there.
again, that's on the trash hauler. They're liable to their customer. That's
So-
not our liability.
I understand that, but you're sympathetic. You have to listen to the complaint, and they're legit, but
Yeah. Go 3 weeks and not have your trash picked up.
and so I've got two places now, one off of Bond Street and one off of Walnut, that are totally overflowing and varmints around them.
Yeah.
And I verified it, but what can I do,
You can cite them to court.
Who, the landowner?
That's right.
That's who I'd have to cite, the property owner, but they're saying they can't get their trash picked up.
You can't get their trash picked
Get a
up
new
by that
hauler.
hauler.
Right, and the lady told
Start
me,
giving BA's number there.
so,
I mean, it's simple as that.
It's that simple. You're
You know.
making a mountain out of a molehill,
If
guys.
you can't get your trash picked up, I can't get my trash picked up, I'm gonna find somebody that'll pick it up.
yeah.
Right.
Okay. So on this first trash hauling permit for Republic Services, they only serve Circle K in town. They have the insurance and we have their check.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? Not roll call?
Mr. Ice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Next is for VA disposal. They have all having their insurance and everything's in order here.
Second.
Any other discussion? Not roll call?
Mr. Ice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Okay, the next is waste management. Says they have approximately 80 customers. They do have insurance. However, according to the gentleman I spoke to, I believe it was this Ryan Johnson on here, the manager, they do not have any single axle trucks.
They're owned by,
They have 80 customers, they say, in town.
Leave town. How many
So-
of them are visible or consumer?
Again,
It doesn't say.
again, if there's any pickups on the alley, they're gonna have to invest in a
Right.
single axle truck.
They have
Right.
to conform to our ordinance, we're not gonna conform to them.
Right, exactly.
They're just gonna tell their people they're gonna pick it up the street.
So,
Okay. And people can either get it picked up the street or they can change hauler.
any other discussion with waste management?
I don't have any.
Anybody, is there a motion for waste management?
If they're in compliance, yes.
Second.
Any other discussion? Not roll call.
Mr. Ice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Okay. Next under service, a recommendation by the village administrator that overtime be paid in lieu of comp time for snow removal on 1/19 and 1/20 of 2019.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any discussion?
Okay. Jumped like somebody shot you.
Any discussion on, okay, they done a good job, worked a lot of hours,
Yes, they
guys.
did.
Yeah, a lot of hours.
Yes, they did.
Okay, roll call.
Mr. Ice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Because everyone likes everything at once. Usually it's quiet. Sorry.
Okay, next under safety, need a motion to suspend rules for resolution 2019-9, resolution rescinding resolution 2019-5, and authorizing an offer and expenditure of $35,000 for the purchase of property from the Lonnie S. Wellison and declaring an emergency.
Motion to suspend the rules.
Roll call.
Mr. Ice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Next, need a motion to accept resolution 2019-9, a resolution rescinding resolution 2019-5 and authorizing an offer expenditure of $35,000 for the purchase of property from Elani S. Willison and declaring an emergency.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? If not, roll call.
Mr. Ice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Next, under utility, need a motion to approve the closing of South Buckeye Street for construction of the water line project.
So moved.
Second.
Under discussion, what's the dates or approximate dates?
Yeah.
I do not have that. Due to weather and change in schedules, I don't have that. I can't honestly tell you.
July 4th.
Just a question.
Memorial Day weekend, buddy.
Due to the weather, I don't have that, and the holiday has changed things.
The schedule will be closed the 28th to the 5th.
28th to the 5th?
Okay. Any other discussion on that? Don't roll call.
Mr. Ice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yeah.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Yes.
Mr. Loomis?
Yes.
Are you gonna make contact with the community bank, their Shivers on their ATM machine and Mayor?
Yeah, I can do that. If we're sure that's the date. Okay,
Well, at least let them know it's coming.
yeah, I will.
Oh, okay.
You're gonna open the back room, the back way from China Street and right home.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything under old business? Anything under new business? Not need a motion to go in executive session for ORC 121.22 G5 for matters required to be kept confidential by state law and ORC 121.22 G1 personnel.
So,
Roll call.
Mr. Ice?
Yes.
Mr. Locke?
Yes.
Mr. Hampton?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Mr. Mueller?
Do we need to leave?
We don't need to leave, Jeff.
Mr. Mueller? Mr. Loomis?
Yes.